Hi guys, back again for our next lesson talking about weather. And so today what we're going to talk about is high and low pressure. So this week we have already learned about air pressure, and we know that a couple of things. When air pressure is more, usually we can breathe better, and when there's less air pressure, like if we went up really high in the sky, um, then there would be less air for us to breathe and it would be harder to breathe. We also learned that when air is colder, it tends to sink down towards the earth because it is more dense, it's heavier. And when air is warmer, it tends to go up because it is less dense and it's lighter. So, knowing all of this information from this week, why does this matter? Why does this help us learn about weather? And we're going to learn that today. So, I wanted to show you these two pictures. Look at your screen. The L on the left-hand side stands for lousy. And low pressure. So when you see L, I want you to think of low pressure and I want you to think of the word lousy. And then look over here on the right-hand side. This is high pressure. And when you see high pressure, I want you to think happy. So this is lousy and this is happy. And that's going to help you remember what kind of weather is coming. A lot of meteorologists on TV use high and low pressure. You're going to see on the screen, if you watch the news at home about the weather, you're going to see H's and L's on your screen. And so we need to kind of understand a little bit more about what these H's and L's are so that you can kind of understand what weather is going to be like. So that when you go outside, you're prepared, or if you take a vacation, so that you know what to bring and what to wear. So let's look at the first one, low pressure, lousy weather. What that means is this air, which is near the ground, is going to be warmer. And we know that warmer air is going to gain energy and it's going to move up into the sky. And so warmer air is going to rise. And as it rises into the sky, it's colder up in the sky. And so that warmer air, which was this red color, used to be warm, but when it rose into the sky, it got cold and it lost energy and it started to condense into clouds. This sounds a lot like the water cycle. Remember, it's very much the same as the water cycle, but instead of talking about water that's evaporating, we're talking about air, just regular oxygen and nitrogen and hydrogen that we breathe all the time. And so this is the same thing. It should look a lot like evaporation and condensation, but it's not. It's warm air rising and cold air condensing. And so that air is going to form clouds. And what do we know when we see these big storm clouds? We usually know that bad weather is coming. Usually rainy weather, clouds, wind. Usually it's cold, and so this is going to be lousy weather because that air, which was down on the earth, is rising up into the sky, and it's going to create clouds and rainy weather and lousy weather, and there's going to be very little air down here near the earth. Now let's go over to our high pressure, which is my favorite kind of weather. Some people like rainy weather. I love sunny weather. So high pressure is going to bring happy weather. And what that means is all of the air that was in the sky fell down because cold air is heavy, and so it's going to fall downward. It's going to be heavier. And as it falls down towards the earth, it warms up. So it used to be up here and it was cold, but cold air sinks because it is more dense and it's heavier. And so as it sinks, it's going to warm up near the surface of the earth where it's warm, and it's going to spread out, and it's going to bring these beautiful sunny days and these nice crisp light breezes, and it's going to create no clouds in the sky, and we're going to see the sun shining. So if we understand L, low pressure, brings kind of lousy weather, and high pressure, which brings happy weather, how does this help us read a weather map and understand weather? So let's look at two more screens. This is an example of a weather map, and we're going to learn a little bit more about this next week. Let's look for the L's and the H's. The L's are here, and the H's, we only have one over here. Now, this is not the entire high and low pressures on the United States. These are just some examples. The L's are going to bring low pressure areas, which means lousy weather. And so as you can tell, look at all these dots. Look at all these slash marks. This is rain and snow. So these people, because they're getting low pressure systems over above them in the air, they're probably going to have some lousy weather, some heavy rain, snow or sleet, or even some light rain. Now over here near Washington, D.C. and New York, they're getting a high pressure system. That means they're getting happier weather. They're getting more sunny skies and clear skies, less clouds. So now let's go over and look at an example. You can try this right now on your screen, and then I will show the answers on the next screen. If we were doing this together in class as a brain warm-up, your task would be to fill in the empty circles with either L for low pressure or H for high pressure. Okay, let's see if you can do it. Which information on the map helped you decide if an area is high pressure or low pressure? Well, the best way that I can do this is I can look for cloud coverage. If there's a lot of clouds and you can see these clouds are even swirling, that means very, very windy. These clouds are kind of curved, so there's going to be wind there. Very cloudy, possibly rain. And so what that means is these are going to be low pressure areas, and that's going to be lousy weather. And these areas are going to be high pressure areas. So how did I decide? Here's the answers. How did I decide on what's low and high pressure? Well, I looked at the weather conditions. I looked at the type of weather, rain or sunny skies, and the amount of cloud coverage. So now let's try this again on a different screen. Looking at the areas of high and low pressure on the map. So let's do that first. We have an area of high pressure here in this area, low pressure here, low pressure here. But on this map, I don't see any other clouds or rain or anything at all. I just see H's and L's. I don't really see any other weather patterns. So now I'm going to have to make my decisions based on what I've learned, not by what I see. So looking at the areas of high and low pressure on the map, those would be the L's and the H's. Would you expect it to be a windy day in City A? So I'm going to look at City A. Here's City A and here's the dot. Would I expect it to be windy if it was a low pressure system? Well, low pressure systems and low pressure parts of the world have lousier weather. They have that rain and those storms, maybe even snow and lots of wind. And so, yes, I think so. I think City A might have more of a windy and rainy kind of weather in that part of the United States. Let's look at the areas of high and low pressure on the map again. Would you expect it to be rainy in City B? Well, this is City B, which is right here, and they're getting high pressure. Remember, high pressure means happier weather. It's going to be clearer skies. All of that air has sunken down towards the earth and spread out and kind of warmed along the earth and brought these nice breezes. So would we expect it to be rainy? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be rainy at all. So let's check our work over here. So let's go back to City A. Remember, it was getting low pressure? Yes, I think City A is experiencing low pressure, which means that the weather is lousy. It's going to be rainy and windy and colder. But remember City B? They thought City B might be raining. I disagree. I think City B is experiencing high pressure, which means happy weather and probably lots of sunshine. So I think this is a really great lesson for us because when you read weather maps, it's really that easy. All you have to do is look for those H's and L's, and that's going to help you kind of know a little bit more about the weather that's going on in your part of the world. And so as we read weather maps a little bit more next week and we kind of predict what kind of weather is coming towards us in Kansas City, these H's and L's are really going to help us know what kind of weather is coming. You do not have any other assignments for me to do today. If you want to rewatch this video, you're more than welcome to, or if you want to look up weather reports on YouTube at home or watch the weather later on tonight when we get the weather forecast for this week, that would be awesome, but you do not have to do that and you don't have any assignments to turn in for me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and I will see you guys in the next lesson. Have a good day, everybody.